This is the rather smart looking Range Rover Velar, which sits between the Evoque and the Sport in the Range Rover lineup. Jaguar Land Rover say the Velar is the most sporty, road-focused Range Rover yet, and while it certainly looks the part, we're here to find out if the new Velar is more than just a pretty face. And for the money, it better be. Prices start at around £45,000 for the 180 brake horsepower Velar, while this HSER dynamic model sits towards the top of the range and is priced from £66,500 on the road. It certainly looks the part too, especially in this optional Kaikoura stone metallic paintwork with contrasting bronze brightwork and sitting on these beautiful 21-inch satin grey alloys. The interior doesn't let the slide down either, with sumptuous leather seats featuring a Union Jack motif in its perforation, which allows for both heating or cooling of your back and backside. It's just a pity the two-screen setup is a little fiddly to use on the move, requiring you to take your eyes off the road to make climate adjustments. They do look super sharp though. Other than that, the driver interface is typical Range Rover. It feels really special indeed, and with that third TFT screen behind the chunky multifunction steering wheel being absolutely crystal clear and easy to read. The infotainment screen, which falls slowly outward on startup, is responsive enough and features a 360-degree camera view. Sadly lacking, however, is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and Land Rover's substitute app, In Control, is just awful. Storage space up front doesn't disappoint though, with a couple of cup holders in the central console, a good sized glove box and extra storage in the split sliding armrests. Perhaps the biggest surprise with the Velar is the rear passenger space. You might expect there to be plenty of legroom back there, but there really isn't. However, headroom is adequate and there are a couple of cup holders in the fold-away armrest, while boot space is better than any of the Velar's rivals at 673 litres. So is the 2-litre 4-pot diesel worthy of its Range Rover home? Well, out on the road the Velar certainly feels quick enough. Not Porsche Macan quick, but quick enough to avoid disappointment. The 240 horsepower engine makes 369 pound-foot of torque, which is impressive, and so are the noise levels, which are even better muted than on the Jaguar F-Pace. Predominantly rear-wheel driven, the Velar's gearbox and clutch will calm the front wheels when needed, and this not only means a well-handling SUV, but with real-life MPG figures of around 48, it's not too thirsty either. Off-road, the Velar is way more capable than its rivals. In fact, it's not much off the pace of a full-size Range Rover, and with the likes of terrain response as standard, you won't be stuck, literally, in any poor grip situation. But in everyday situations, the Velar is a delight to drive, with forgiving suspension that never jolts. The optional electronic air suspension probably helps here, as does selecting comfort mode from the adaptive dynamics options. Body roll is so well controlled you're tempted to leave in comfort mode even on twisty A roads, although dynamic mode does allow for quicker exits from corners. So the Velar proves to be more than just a pretty face. It's actually a very capable off-roader and a supremely comfortable cruiser. But how many Velars will actually venture off-road? Not many, I would think. After all, this is an SUV to be seen in, a style statement that beats the opposition hands down for desirability and to some degree drivability too. It's just a pity that you have to pay extra for some features that on a car of this price should come as standard, and the exclusion of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is unforgivable. Well, almost unforgivable.